Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. Tonight we go somewhere most preachers rush past, because this story is not about money. It was never about money. There was a man, wealthy, powerful, wise, who was about to leave on a long journey. Before he left, he called 3 of his servants to him, and he gave each of them something to steward while he was gone. To the first, he gave 5 talents. To the second, 2. To the third, 1. And then he left. Now understand, a talent was not a small coin. A single talent was the equivalent of 20 years of wages for a working man. What this master handed his servants before walking out the door was not pocket change. It was trust. It was a declaration of what he believed each man was capable of holding. The first servant took his 5 talents and went immediately to work. He invested, he moved, he risked. By the time the master returned, he had doubled it, 10 talents where 5 had been. The second servant did the same. 2 became 4. The third servant, and this is where the story gets uncomfortable, took his 1 talent, went out to the field, and dug a hole in the ground, and he buried it. He didn't spend it. He didn't lose it. He didn't gamble it away. He buried it, safe, untouched, exactly as he received it. When the master returned and called his servants to account, the first 2 came forward with doubled hands, and the master said the words that have echoed across every generation since. "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." And then the third man came forward, and he said something that reveals everything about why he buried it. He said, "Master, I knew you were a hard man. I was afraid, so I hid your talent in the ground." He was afraid, not careless, not rebellious, afraid. And the master was not merciful about it. Now I want to stop here, because every teaching on this parable rushes to the rebuke and misses the diagnosis. The third servant did not bury the talent because he was lazy. He buried it because he had a wrong picture of who the master was. He said, "I knew you were a hard man." But the first 2 servants were given to the same master. The same man handed all of them their talents on the same day. The difference was not in the master. The difference was in the story each servant told himself about what would happen if he tried and failed. Servant 3 thought, "If I risk this and lose it, the punishment will be worse than if I keep it safe." And so he made the only move that guaranteed the outcome he was afraid of. He chose the guaranteed loss over the possible one. I want to ask you something tonight, and I want you to sit with it, really sit with it before you answer. What have you buried? Not what have you lost, not what have you tried and failed at, not what has been taken from you. What have you personally, deliberately, quietly placed in the ground and covered it with the careful dirt of someday, I'm not ready, someone else could do it better, I don't want to risk it? Because the story is not calling you a failure for not being the servant who doubled 5 talents into 10. The story is calling you to ask one specific question. What did you do with what you were given? Not what you would do if you had more, not what you could do if the circumstances were different. What have you done, what are you doing right now with what is already in your hands? The talent is always something you already have. The gift is already in you. The ability, the insight, the experience, the passion, it didn't arrive by accident. It was given to you deliberately with the full expectation that you would use it.
And the enemy of every buried talent is not failure. It is fear dressed up as wisdom. Fear says, be realistic. Fear says, don't get your hopes up. Fear says, you don't have enough yet. Wait until you're more prepared. And the whole time it's talking you out of moving. The hole is getting deeper. Here is the warrior application of this parable. The master in this story is not interested in your excuses. He is not moved by your fear. He does not grant grace to the servant who kept everything safe, Because safe in the kingdom is not neutral. Safe with your gift is a choice, and it is a costly one. The warrior who buries what he has been given because he is afraid of the master's response has already misunderstood the master. God does not give gifts to hoard them. God does not plant vision in you so you can be a museum of your own potential. The servant with 1 talent was not punished for having less than the others. He was not penalized for producing less than the servant with 5. He was held accountable for one thing only, that he knew what he had, and he chose not to use it. So tonight, I am asking you to take inventory. I am asking you to name what you have been sitting on. I am asking you to feel the weight of it, the gift that has been in your hands, sometimes for years, waiting for you to stop being afraid of making a mistake with it and just begin. I am warrior. I don't bury what I've been given. I don't wait for permission to move. I don't need perfect conditions to take the first step. The servant who doubled his talents didn't wait. He went immediately. The text says it plainly. He didn't strategize for a year. He didn't build a committee. He didn't wait for more certainty. He moved with what he had in the direction of what he believed. That is the invitation tonight. Not to be perfect, not to double everything overnight, not to perform for anyone's approval. The invitation is simply this: stop digging, stop maintaining the hole. Take what is in your hand, the gift, the idea, the calling, the skill, the experience, and bring it out into the light. Because here is what the parable does not say, and this is important. The parable never says the servants who multiplied their talents were guaranteed to succeed. It only says they tried. And the master's words were not, "Well done, successful servant." They were, "Well done, faithful servant." Faithfulness, that's the measurement. Faithfulness to what you were given. Faithfulness to the move. Faithfulness to the risk. I am faithful with what I've been given. I am willing to risk what is in my hand for something greater. I am stepping out of the hole I have been maintaining and into the open field where light multiplies. Say it with me. I am warrior. I don't fight for victory. I fight from victory. If this stirred something in you tonight, if there is a talent, a gift, a calling you have been sitting on, share this video with one person today. Not everyone, one person. The persons whose face just appeared in your mind when I said those words. Because the work of the kingdom is not done alone. It multiplies through the ones who were faithful enough to pass it forward. Subscribe to this channel. New frequencies in Scripture are released every week for warriors who are ready to stop hiding and start living from victory. And if this work has value to you, you can support free healing content for everyone at ourfamilies.pplx.app. There is a donate link there, and every contribution keeps this mission moving. I am warrior. I don't fight for victory. I fight from victory. Go multiply what you've been given.